This is TechCrunch. Microsoft's hanging up on Skype. I'm Imran Sheikh, and let's fire up your Saturday Daily Crunch, starting with 3 big headlines. Looks like Tesla applied for a permit with the California Public Utilities Commission to operate a transportation service in the state, a required first step if the automaker wants to eventually operate a robo-taxi service there. Tesla's application for a transportation charter party carrier permit was first reported by Bloomberg. Now, TechCrunch has independently confirmed with the CPUC that Tesla applied for the TCP permit in November 2024. The permit's pending and has not yet been approved. These so-called TCP permits are different from those held by ride-hailing app companies Lyft and Uber. A TCP permit means the company, in this case Tesla, owns the vehicles and uses employees as drivers, according to the CPUC, which regulates human-driven and driverless ride-hailing services in the state. So what do Uber and Lyft have? Well, they hold Transportation Network Company, or TNC, permits. TNCs use an online-enabled application like a smartphone app to connect drivers using their personal vehicles with paying passengers. A CPUC spokesperson told TechCrunch that Tesla has not applied for a TNC permit. The automaker also has not applied to participate in the CPUC's Autonomous Vehicle Passenger Service program, the spokesperson said. Mozilla has responded to user backlash over the Firefox web browser's new terms of use, which critics have called out for using overly broad language that appears to give the browser maker the rights to whatever data you input or upload. The company says the new terms aren't a change in how Mozilla uses data, but are rather meant to formalize its relationship with the user by clearly stating what users are agreeing to when they use Firefox. Well, on Wednesday, the browser maker introduced a new terms of use and updated privacy notice for Firefox, saying it wanted to offer users more transparency over their rights and permissions in the agreements, as well as provide a more detailed explanation of its data practices. However, there was some confusion about this, so much confusion, in fact, that the company has had to update its blog post to state that its terms do not give Mozilla ownership of user data or a right to use it beyond what's stated in the privacy notice. TechCrunch asked Mozilla to clarify if the terms now indicate user data was being provided to AI companies or advertisers. The company told us that its privacy notice still applies when using its AI features, and content data is not sent to Mozilla or elsewhere. Plus, data shared with advertisers is de-identified, it said. Well, as the saying goes, all good things must come to an end. After kickstarting the market for making calls over the internet 23 years ago, an eon in tech timelines, Skype is closing down. Virtually pour one out. You see, Microsoft, which acquired the messaging and calling app 14 years ago, said it will be retiring it from active duty on May 5th to double down on Teams. Skype users have 10 weeks to decide what they want to do with their account. Now, it's not clear how many people are impacted. The most recent numbers that Microsoft had shared were in 2023, when it said it had more than 36 million users, a long way from Skype's peak of 300 million users. Between now and May 5th, users will have the option to migrate all their contacts and chat data over to Microsoft Teams platform. Alternatively, users can download their Skype data using the app's built-in export tool. Oof, I haven't been this sad since I let go of my AIM account. Now, Skype's death knell comes 2 years after Microsoft started rolling out an entirely rebuilt, re-architected Teams desktop and web app. In those 2 years, Microsoft says consumer calling minutes in Teams has grown fourfold, though it declined to say how many consumers make up its 320 million user base. One of the big takeaways from all this is how the lines between the business and consumer realms have blurred, due in part to societal norms around technology and trends such as remote work. Skype began as a consumer product that spread into the business sphere, while Teams began as a business product that segued into consumer. Teams today, though, still feels like a business product, particularly due to, well, its name. I mean, do families and friends really see themselves as part of one big team? And let's wrap up with some quick startup news. Digital banking services provider Alchemy Technology is acquiring Mantle, which has been described as the Shopify of account opening, for $400 million. Mantle was founded in 2016 and developed software to make it easier for people to open accounts digitally at community banks and credit unions. The end goal is that those institutions can increase deposits and ultimately profits. And Snowflake plans to expand its startup accelerator with $200 million in additional commitments, the tech giant that specializes in cloud-based data storage said Thursday. The new injection of capital follows a string of activity by Snowflake over the past several months that illustrates that company's growth ambitions. The Snowflake Startup Accelerator, formerly known as the Powered by Snowflake Funding Program, invests in a broad range of early-stage startups. And that's your Daily Crunch. Today's stories were reported by Paul Sowers, Sarah Perez, and more beautiful, lovely TechCrunch journalists. We'll see you here next week, and until then, find us Skyping each other for old time's sake at TechCrunch.com.